Alright. Played a little bit off stream, but not a whole lot. Healing's pretty easy, but I've realized a lot of stuff they changed. Really miss Germany. Barely even had a chance to use it. Seems like these I don't know, icon, whatever you would call this. This icon looks different to me. A lot less. What's the word I'm looking for? Obstructive? Doesn't obstruct the view as badly.
Worthy of a warrior. Stop the funeral pyres. The gates. Knockar, he's dead. We should pick up anchor and set sail for Talador right now. Calm yourself, Zogash. We will do no such thing. If these weaklings are so eager to die, then we should oblige. Sir, this is the last of the Thrawn that we have. Blackhand will have our hides if we show up empty-handed. Zogash, do not question my authority. This isn't just any Gron. This is Skulak, son of Gruul. The blood of a champion courses through his veins. I'm not concerned with these paltry whelps. Yes, sir.
Got him. Got him with the WMDs.
Ha! Would you look at that? Maybe I underestimated them. Zogash, Prepare
It's the worst
Scar.
design.
Let them have a taste of what he has to offer. Igniting the cannon, sir!
Yo, how's it going? Not too bad. Ready for BFA to come out. I don't really feel like running any of the current raids right now, so I figured I'd just train up one of my Alliance alts. Kind of been wanting to play healer for a little while, so I don't know. How you doing, man? Having a good one?
I'm with you! Keep firing, you out! Sir, he's out of ammunition! I'm reloading! I'm reloading! Ah, forget it. They'll never make it past the tracks. Back off, area, front and center!
Kumapone.
Right away, Captain. It will be my pleasure.
Ha! Ditto!
I need to try to remember to say people's like actual stream names. Something I always forget to do.
You better step back. I'm calling in the bomb squad.
Just in case there's ever more than one person watching. Yeah, that's when I would watch a lot of streamers, was when I was at work, just kind of as background noise.
You will burn!
But yeah, this was my original alt back in the day. Had a no Morlock main and this.
This is far from... Sir, half of our army's been taken out. Don't you think we should... That was an
I'm trying to decide if I want to try to get into like a hardcore raiding guild or something for BFA.
Unworthy of serving in Black Hand's army.
I heard they're gonna do these like special guild achievements for the first 200
Thinking, sir.
guilds to complete, I guess, every raid.
I think good.
So the first until that first 200 are met, the raids will be server specific, I think they said, and then after that threshold's met, they'll open to the server shards. I think that's what they're calling. But yeah, it was kind of, would be cool to be in one of the guilds that get a world first or whatever. I mean, obviously you couldn't just hop into one right away, but Maybe get into one of the top 100 or something. As like a alternate. I mean, I have enough characters to choose from. I could probably play any role they wanted.
Captain, they're almost here. What do we do now?
Of course, healer would have to be on Alliance, but yeah.
Bring in the saber on and we'll be done with it. Are you sure you want to let that thing out of its cage? I don't think we've fed it since we found it. Put a muzzle on it.
Yeah, I remember back in vanilla, it was like death and taxes. There was one I can't remember that was really big. Had a lot of world firsts. I was in a raid that was trying to, but I think we were like maybe 20th in Burning Crusade on one of the bosses. Like one of the bosses in Tempest Keep or something. Can't really remember. Probably not even 20, maybe top like 50. We were the server first, that was for sure, but world first, we were never anywhere close. I was trying to see if I could find some of my old guild mates, but it's impossible to track that stuff down. Because we switched from one server to another, and on the only thing I could really find that had a database, I don't know, it lost information on at the point where the servers were switched. I need to pay a little better attention to the people's health here. But yeah, that was always what I really liked, was like the competitive. I don't even know if it was competitive, but there's hardcore raiding. That was really fun. Trying to be the first to master a boss. The first to complete a full raid. Keep forgetting who's supposed to be the tank here. It's this guy. But yeah, I know one of my like IRL friends in my guild on the Horde characters sounded like they were thinking about it too, so may see what they end up doing. Linked me one of the guilds, so I may check them out. And now that they have the communities thing they're adding, it might be easier to even coordinate with getting into a guild, or like a guild run without necessarily being in a guild. So that's kind of cool. Glad they added that. And I guess it can be where guilds have to be same server, I think. That could be crossover. Maybe it doesn't have to be same server. Actually, I think it does. But yeah, now communities will kind of make that not matter, I guess. Ooh, the lag. Ever since the excuse me, ever since the update, I've been getting weird lag on like these particle effects. Really bad lag. I don't think it used to do that, so I don't know if I don't know why it's running so strangely. Doesn't seem like although I did change it to DirectX 12 from 11. But I was under the impression that would make it run more smoothly. So I kind of doubt it's that. Don't know. Wonder if these guys are gonna do another one. This guy is speed clearing. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, I guess raiding will never be like it really used to be, but I don't think that's totally bad, because I still remember, every time I think about raiding, I think about all the grinding for materials and stuff. Always had to have your mage oil. Oh, I need to remember to use my iron bark more. Always had to have all your consumables, potions, potion of spell power, potions on consumables, 3 sets of gear. Well, I don't know, 2 or 3. I guess it depends. Certain bosses you had to have that specific resistance gear. And I guess, like, it makes it a little bit more hardcore, but some of that's just more tedious to me. Just becomes even more of an inventory management game, and I don't know. It's less skill based and more preparedness based. Why is this? This guy's running too far. Jesus. I remember Nextra on this. That was such a bear of a raid. That was the first one where I think I didn't really pay attention, but like my guild leader and stuff, we were all trying to figure out how to get a world first, because it was a while before anybody finished Nex, I think. I think that was part of the reason we didn't want to keep trying to finish AQ, because we could never get Cthulhu down. But Cthulhu, man, that was a fun fight. I really liked AQ myself.
Get that one!
Probably one of my favorite raids. I did not really care for Naxxramas personally. Blackwing Lair I liked. I think that one I was just nostalgic for it, man.
Get that one!
I was thinking about running through some of the old raids for transmogs, but I don't know, I might do that tomorrow. I do need to try to work some tomorrow. Kind of doing some support work for a astronomy lab. Sort of what I was doing before, but now I can do remote work, so I can work from home, but then it's just that much more opportunity to slack, so I've gotten like nothing done this week. So tomorrow I should probably actually do some stuff. I would say I would try to stream early, but probably won't. Yeah, I was watching a little bit of my guilty pleasure earlier, Ice Poseidon. Man, that guy's a mess. It is amazing though how much success he's had. It's kind of astounding that people watch him do pretty much anything. And it seems like he has just no shame on certain stuff. Like, I would almost want to try IRL streaming, but I can't compete with people who are willing to just make fools out of themselves. I don't want to sound like, I don't know, like an asshole, but I have a little bit too much self-respect and dignity for that. Like, they're almost like the new age jackass career. And I would say Jackass didn't really involve bystanders that much, but they did a lot of the time, so. And they were, you know, the name of the show was Jackass for a reason. They were jackasses. But yeah, he got big in old school RuneScape, which is weird to me because I don't know, just ever since I played WoW, I never thought about playing RuneScape again. It was always crazy to me to find out there was such a big, like, old school RuneScape community. I definitely played old school RuneScape back in the day. I think that was probably my first, like, MMORPG. There was some other one I played that for the life of me, I can't remember the name of. I remember really liking it. It was really simple, but it was almost like RuneScape 2, if I remember that correctly. I never played that, but it's what that looked like was kind of what this one looked like. Graphics. Wish I could remember the name of that one. I remember playing EverQuest on PS2 way back in the day too. I always wanted to try it on computer, but I could never like convince my parents to let me get a subscription because I was pretty young when EverQuest was a thing. Then they let people try it for free on PS2. So they made a port of it, and supposedly that was like the downfall of EverQuest. I remember trying that. But I actually had like a membership for a month or two on RuneScape. So I think that was my first paid subscription, or yeah. The first MMORPG I actually paid for a subscription to play. Oh, and I played Puzzle Pirates for a while way back in the day. That was a badass little game. I loved it. Had my own little ship. I had like guilds and stuff, had little guild wars. That was fun. I tried to play that again more recently and I was just like, man, this is too kiddie. Just couldn't enjoy it. And it was like, I don't know, couldn't figure out what I was doing again. Couldn't recover my account either. I hate when I play a game, stop, and then can't recover the account, so I know I have, like, you know, pretty decent stuff. Maybe not good stuff, but above beginner level stuff, and just can't access it. Probably would have started playing WoW again if I had recovered my account sooner. This guy's just sprinting. I was trying to look for some new job offers today, actually. I really need to get off my ass and find a career position somewhere. Got my degree and then just kind of stopped, dead in the fucking water. A little bit of... I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the imposter syndrome. But it's where apparently it happens a lot with college students, or I don't know, a lot of the time, especially when people start kind of becoming successful, kind of achieving their goals, they start to question like if they have earned it really and if they deserve it, and you feel like you're not, I don't know. I mean, the name says it all, the imposter syndrome. You feel like you are not deserving of your life, kinda. That makes sense. Or like you're not smart enough to be getting the grades you're getting, or doing the degree you're doing, so causes a lot of self-doubt, crap like that. Kind of screwed me in school a lot, because it'll make you think, oh, you know, why should I bother studying? I'm too dumb. Like, you know, I'm already too dumb for these classes. I shouldn't be here. I've faked my way too far or something to that degree. And then you spend more time convincing yourself out of that than studying. Just stupid self-sabotage crap. But yeah, basically that, with a combination of, you know, I don't think anybody wants to be rejected or fail. And I've pretty much almost all the jobs I've applied for I got right away because I had some sort of shoe in the door. So it's, I don't know, it does weird things to your sense of self-worth when you submit a bunch of applications and then, you know, you don't ever hear anything back, or they say, oh yeah, we'll call you. You think it, like I've had some sort of initial interviews. They have these career days on campus. Got a couple of callbacks for that, but they sounded like they were gonna go somewhere and then they didn't. And I mean, I know it should be like you get 10 interviews and maybe one will follow through. And I was basically putting all my eggs in one basket and hoping on one, so. I mean, I know I'm being kind of dumb about it. It's just, like I said, a combination of a few things. Some real shit right there. And, like, the jobs I really want, like, I graduated with about a 2.8 GPA. I got a dual major in mechanical and aerospace engineering, so my GPA wasn't that great, but it was a pretty decently challenging degree from a pretty good school. So I feel like, you know, I don't know, there's a lot of jobs where there's a minimum GPA required, and I feel like maybe that should be a little more lax based on the school. Like, you know, I went to UF, and not to be conceited or anything, but I feel like a degree from UF's worth a little bit more than like a degree from, I don't know. I can't really think of a good example. The schools that come to mind actually have really good engineering programs, so. Like there's UCF around here, UM, University of Miami. Maybe like UNF. It's not the same as like getting a degree from UNF in engineering. I think UF's rated like among the top 50 in the country, including Ivy League schools, for most of their engineering programs. And I think they're like 30th for mechanical, and I don't remember aero. But either way, I got a 2.8 GPA. Point was, most of the jobs I want are in the aerospace industry. And they pretty much all require at least a 3.0. Most of them are like 3.3, 3.5 or better. And a lot of them, they won't even look at your resume if you have less. Like, I don't even think they'll log you into the system on the website if you don't meet those. So, it's a little bit disheartening, but knowing that, I also know I need to get a, you know, maybe set my standards a little lower, accept a degree that's not quite aerospace, which is what I was trying to do with these jobs in the labs on campus, but I'm just not getting the experience I need. And then I don't know, I waste my time all day. I have no good excuses for the amount of time I've wasted. Then I sit here thinking about the time I've wasted. How stupid is that? So I'm in a talkative mood tonight. Almost level 97. Yeah, that's the thing. I need to just go ahead and throw my resume out to some industry, like employers that don't have quite as high of standards, maybe aren't as prestigious positions, but like you said, just get that experience and then GPA won't matter and I can move up. I guess the thing is, I was really hoping to just go straight to like somewhere I could stay for a few years, which I mean, yeah, a lot of the time for engineer they will, or at least for the ones I've done, they'll ask for trans. Well, I don't know, actually. But there's also other things I guess I could be doing, like there's this thing called the Fundamentals of Engineering exam, FE. And basically you take it, and there's certain fields that need it, certain ones don't, but mechanical is one of the ones. I don't think there's one for aero. I think mechanical kinda, I don't know, there might be. Either way, if there isn't one for aero, I know there's one for mechanical. Once you pass the FE exam, you're what's called an engineering training. So you can like write EIT after your name if you want, kinda like a, sort of like pretending to be a doctor. And then you have to work under a licensed professional engineer for 3 years, then you can take the professional engineering exam, and then you can write PE after your name, which, you know, professional engineer. And then you can actually like stamp and certify building schematics and stuff like that. It has to be within your discipline, obviously. Get in a lot of trouble for certifying documents you shouldn't, because it's basically like a legal, like almost like a notary. But yeah, definitely just need to get over myself and get an industry job, get some experience, get some money saved up again. Kind of dried up my savings account. Like I said, I kind of saved up enough money. My plan was to try to put a down payment on a house. I didn't really have enough to do that, but maybe enough to like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I didn't have a ton saved up, but had a decent little bit. But I do still have a little bit of student loan to pay off. Not too much though. Tried pretty hard to keep those low. It's called Florida Bright Futures here. Scholarship for most people, just for like having a decent GPA through high school and getting a certain score on the standardized tests and all that. But then they nerfed that right when I started college, or at least when I started university. What used to be a 100% scholarship, pay for all your tuition, all your books, and I think it used to pay for room and board. It basically went down, each one went down about 25%. So what was supposed to be 100% was basically 75. What was supposed to be 75 was 50, and so on. No more room and board, anything like that, but oh well. I don't really have to worry about that stuff too much, though.
Off I go then.
I kind of shot myself in the foot while I was in college. I was working as a civil engineering aide for the USDA. But civil engineering isn't the same as mechanical and aerospace, so mechanical is kind of like the jack of all trades. Civil is like it just specializes in sort of municipal stuff. like roads, ditches, farms, runoff water, irrigation, stuff like that. Really boring shit in my opinion. I like aerospace and mechanical because that's like, you know, engines, explosions. I always wanted to be a pilot, but apparently if you want to be a professional pilot, you can't be colorblind. Because there are a lot of dials and warning lights in the cockpit. And they want you to be able to tell the difference between a yellow, orange, and red warning light. So I was like, oh, maybe I can try to design airplanes and spacecraft and cars. Always been good at math. So that's what I should try to do now. I should start looking for some like automotive jobs. So I wouldn't mind working especially for BMW or Nissan. I really like their cars. Used to have a 300ZX twin turbo. Right now I have a E36 1998 BMW 328i. A 3-liter, or no, a 2.8-liter inline 6. That 300 twin turbo, that was a Nissan. It's the predecessor to the 350 and 370Z. The family's called the Fairlady Z. Oh man, it had a beast of an engine. It was a 3-liter V6, which the non-turbo version made about 220 horsepower, I think. And the twin turbo version made almost 300 stock. Oh yeah, SpaceX is one of the big ones, but their jobs are really competitive. They kind of get the cream of the crop and kind of have their pick of the litter. But I should apply to them again because they're definitely like, they're going places, obviously. And I've heard people say, even recruiters at these job fairs, they said apparently Elon Musk's dream is to basically live and die on Mars. I was like, yeah, that's basically my dream too, so it'd be pretty amazing to work for someone who has that same outrageous dream. I want to at least help mankind get to another planet, like colonize another planet. That's my life goal, is to be able to say that I helped humanity set foot on another planet. Of course I like gaming too, so saw a lot of people making money from streaming and I figured I'd try that. Or not really, at first I was trying to make videos, but that shit's a lot of work. Editing videos is, man, it's a learning process. And it's time consuming. And then you could spend, I spent a long time on some videos and then, I don't know, you just look back at them and you're just, man, they weren't worth the time investment. Like I have another couple of those Star Wars RP videos I need to finish up, but I still need to trim them up and cut them down, and I don't know, it's just kind of, what's the point? I guess the point is just because I like doing it. I find them funny. But yeah, I guess that's part of the problem too. Kind of lost the passion, the drive, all that a little bit. But yeah, I need to stop making excuses for myself and just send some applications out. Send them everywhere. SpaceX, Boeing, Honeywell, Raytheon, Blue Origin. Oh my god, get off of me. Blue Origin's kind of a cool one. That's the Amazon CEO's company. They're trying to do civilian spaceflight. So basically, they're selling tickets for civilians to fly into, I guess, low orbit and then re-enter. And I believe their entire rocket's reusable. The rocket itself comes back and self-lands, kind of like the SpaceX Dragon 9 or whatever. Whichever one is self-landing. And then the pod with the people in it comes down, you know, just on a parachute. Or no, wait. Yeah, it does, actually. I was thinking of the booster when it lands, I was confusing it. I don't know where I'm going right now. Just go get this flight path. Yeah, you're right. Just gotta get over it and take a job that's a little less what I consider my dream job, and just a job that has some benefits that I can start saving up some money. And I know my mom's having some... My mom just retired this year, so she's worried about some stuff, so I feel like I should be helping her out a little bit, so... Or at least more than I am. Right now I'm just kinda being a parasite. So yeah, I need to not do that and help her out. But yeah, we all gotta start somewhere, so I need to stop thinking I'm just gonna start out on my dream job. May even find something I end up liking better. You know, that's not so world changing, but...
I am listening. What brings you here?
Crap. So yeah, I should make that my goal this weekend. Send out like 10 resumes. So again, I think it's probably like a 10-to-1 ratio. You send out 10 resumes, maybe you get 1 call. You get 10 calls, maybe you get 1 interview. You get 10 interviews, maybe you get 1 job offer. You get 10 job offers, maybe one of those is, you know, your dream job. But sending out 2 resumes, getting 1 call, and putting all my eggs in that, it's just dumb. Like, I know it, I just need to deal with it. Stop thinking about it and understanding it and learn from it. Act on it.
Good luck, friend. What brings you here? Be careful.
But yeah, it should be alright. Once I land my first job, I'll be getting back where I need to be. There's some other things that are kind of back in my head, like my yeah, applying nowadays too, where everything is online. There's one website, like Blue Origin. I wanted to apply to a couple of different jobs, but when you apply for one, it has a warning that says, please don't apply to more than 1 position. We'll work hard to find you a job that fits your credentials, basically. But like, I don't know, I don't want to be looked over for one job because I believe that, when I don't know, I've heard plenty of times that there's disconnects between big corporations especially, so who's to say there wasn't somebody that was supposed to remove that message? You know, I don't know. Just don't want to be looked over, but yeah, applying can be a really stressful process. Sometimes, like, I don't know, there was a way to apply on LinkedIn, and yeah, that's true too. There are some places you can put your resume and job seekers will kind of look for you. There's one called USA Jobs that has a lot of government jobs, but government employs a lot of engineers, especially through military contracting. It's where a lot of the, like, aerospace industry gets a lot of work. So I was dumb and let my account expire on there. That's one of the places I do need to look again, reactivate my account. Because like you said, there's a chance that might happen for me if somebody could find me and all that. But yeah, that's always kind of flattering too when a employer finds you and they're like, yeah, we want you to work for us. So that must have meant they really liked you. But that's also why, like, these job fairs, I feel like, are a really good opportunity. Because then you can talk to someone face to face and they can, you know, you can make an impression, they can kind of put a face to the name, and when they see your resume, they're like, oh yeah, that was the guy who really sounded like he knew what he wanted. Ready to work. Whatever.
Open for business.
I don't know what a GS spot is. That government?
What? No tip? A coin spent here is a coin for Gilneas.
Yeah, and I thought I made a few good impressions. But that was the one I was talking about. I kind of put all my eggs in that basket. I was like, oh yeah, they said they would call me back, so I don't need to try to get any more interviews. Dumb. But yeah, I feel like a good impression can make a huge difference. And not to be like conceited or anything, but I feel like I'm pretty well spoken. I know sometimes when I'm talking on stream I trip over my words because sometimes I try to choose the way I say things carefully. I try to speak at a certain level. Like I try to say things very... Of course it's gonna happen when I'm trying to say it. Like just very concisely and clearly. Like I don't wanna... a lot of people say words that can be easily misconstrued, and it's kind of easier just to put a little bit more thought into what you're saying and make sure it's clear what you mean. Keep forgetting to use this stuff. But yeah, the only other thing is now that I'm so far out of graduating, you know, and I haven't gotten any significant experience to make my resume look better, I feel like that's gonna be it's gonna hurt me. It's gonna be like, what the hell have you been doing for the past 3 years? And I won't have a very good answer. I don't know. Soul searching. Made a YouTube channel. Got some sick meme videos. But yeah, it'll only get worse until I do something about it. I guess, you know, I've kind of come to the realization also, I think that's why a lot of people play video games. Way to escape reality. Kind of just not think about other stuff going on. It's like anything else, you do it too much, it can be sort of like a, what's the word, a crutch, dependency. Yeah, maybe I will put my YouTube link on my resume. Like, here, check out my karaoke video. Put the avatar I use with my dog on it. Actually, I could just bring my dog in. He probably would help me in a... Well, no, that's not true. Sometimes he decides he hates people and attacks them. So it probably wouldn't be a good thing if he bit an interviewer. I almost wanted to make my channel sort of educational at a time, but I don't know. It didn't pan out. I was gonna try to do like Kerbal Space Program and I don't know, just explain shit. Some of that stuff's just boring now. Oh yeah, that's true, they would remember me. Like, he was that guy with that little dachshund. He was cute until you got close enough for him to bite you. I need to get a good video of him when we're getting his food ready. He does this little tap dance, hopping around waiting for his food. Just can't contain himself. He's quite adorable when he's not around people that he decides he hates. I've heard that's kind of not uncommon with dachshunds, that they tend to make snap judgments and they're really protective of their pack, kind of. So I think they can tell when somebody's not really like they can tell when somebody is sort of a close friend, and so they automatically, you know, are nice towards them. But then they can tell when people aren't, and they're very not nice. Man, he has the loudest little bark for a 20-pound dog. Freaking annoying little turd he is. But then when he walks, you can see his little haunches jiggling around, and it's alright. Cracks me up. Dachshunds are such funny looking dogs. Corgis too. Pugs. Dogs are pretty great. Maybe I'll just put a bunch of pictures of dogs on my resume. Can't really go wrong with that. It's like this place called Chewy's. It's a restaurant around here. And they have this deal where if you bring in a framed picture of your dog, you get a free appetizer. And then they put it on the wall. It's kind of funny. So the wall is just covered in pictures of people's dogs. Need to go there sometime. I haven't been in a while. It's always fun to look at people's dogs on the wall. Especially if they like dress them up or something, you know, funny. I know there's a lot of people too that are like, you know, dog or cat person. I feel like most people are just pet people. Like if you like dogs, you probably like pets in general. If you like cats, you probably like pets in general. I'd bet most people who like dogs or cats like both. Cause I like my cat a lot too. I just hate the stigma about like cats being a feminine pet. Some people are a little... Some people go a little too far with their pets, and that can happen either way if it's a dog or a cat. And there are some pretty feminine dogs also. Like honestly, a miniature dachshund's kind of feminine. Mine's kind of like the runt of a standard litter. Not really miniature. But I don't think he's feminine at all. He's such a little... Just a little turd, man. That's the only way to describe him.
Right now, calm yourself, Zogash. We will do no such thing. If these weaklings are so eager to die, then we should oblige.
Well, my sister has a pit next. Everyone says they think she's either pit lab or pit,
Do not question my authority.
pit.
This isn't just any Gron. This is Skullock.
Yeah, chocolate lab, I think is what most people say. It's probably what I'd say.
Courses through his veins. I'm not concerned with these paltry whelps. Yes, sir.
But yeah, she's a lot tamer.
Ha! Would you look at that? Maybe I
Big old 60-pound dog afraid of thunder.
Prepare, Skullock. Let them have a taste of what he has to offer. Igniting
Meanwhile, my little wiener boy couldn't care less. Man, he is a fiend for food, though. Yeah, and that makes sense. Like, I can definitely understand people liking both and just kind of liking one more. Like, dogs are definitely more of a companion animal. Cats are kind of like, when you want a pet, but you don't want to have to take... Like, you don't want to have to show affection to it. Dogs, you can give as much affection as you care to. Most dogs, anyways. Cats, I feel like, for the most part, there's a threshold that you can't cross. You get about 20-30 minutes of vigorous petting, and then they are done. And even that's pushing it. Probably more like 5 to 10 minutes.
fire! Aim, then fire!
But yeah, I don't know if I'd say I prefer either one, really. I like them all. Kind of depends too on, I guess, the pet in specific. Cause I've known some, like my sister's cats, I don't like as much as my cat. They are not nearly as affectionate. They aren't nearly as, like, entertaining to me. My cat is a real ham sometimes. The people I don't get are the ones who have, like, parakeets and ferrets. Parakeets are extremely noisy. Oh, I guess you could say dogs are noisy too, though. You leave them inside. Ferrets just have such a stench to them. I guess any rodent pet. Well, ferrets are kind of cool. I knew somebody with an albino ferret. Albino ferret. And they're cool little pets, but I would never want to own one. It'd be cool with visiting someone's place if I didn't have to stay there for too long. I don't think I could ever date a girl who has a pet ferret. It smells just too much.
You get killing to be done. Let me at him.
Then again, I guess some people hate the smell of, like, you know, cat litter boxes, which isn't a great smell, but just to each their own. Snakes are kind of cool pets. Never really wanted one, but they always seem like they'd be a cool one to have. Of course, then you have to have rodents to feed the snakes, so... I remember back when I was like kind of a younger teenager, my mom really wanted a sugar glider. There was this place I used to go to Taekwondo, and near there, afterwards we would go, you know, places around there just to kill some time. There was a pet shop that had these sugar gliders, and she used to always just go look at them, and I don't remember if you could hold them or not. Sugar gliders are really cool, but they sound like they're really, like, labor intensive to keep. You have to show them a lot of attention, and you have to give them like a habitat where they can actually glide around and stuff. They're cool though. They're kind of like halfway between a bat and a hamster almost. Or maybe a bat and a squirrel.
Half of our army's been taken out. Don't you think we should? That was an insignificant loss.
Actually, speaking of which, I always thought a raccoon would be a really cool pet to have.
Worthy of serving in Black Hand's army. Blood and honor, Zogosh. That is all that orcs understand.
But of course, I feel like raccoons are just too feral to... I've seen people that have had them as pets, but I don't know how you would ever get one to raise as a pet. I guess you have to find it as a baby. It's kind of like my dog killed a mother possum with, I think it was either 6 or 8 babies in her pouch. And the babies were still latched onto the poor mama's nips. And like, my mom had gone to work that morning and told me I needed to bury the possum's body and not to let the dogs out till I had. I went out there to bury it, and oh man, it was so weird. I saw... It's kind of gross, I guess, but I don't know. I saw this stuff moving around on her belly, and I thought my dog had, like, basically eviscerated her, and it was her guts with, like, maggots moving around, but it wasn't. It was a big lump of, like, 6 babies, all, you know, squirming around in her pouch. And I couldn't see what they really were, because all except for 2 of them, I think, were completely in the pouch. So that was interesting. And my mom, she thought the baby possums were so cute. They actually were pretty cute. But they were gross. They had like fleas all over them, and we ended up taking them to a wildlife like rehabilitator. Same day or the next day. My mom, I could tell though, she kind of wanted to keep them. Or at least one. They were kind of cute as little babies. But man, possums grow up to be some ugly looking things.
Are you sure you want to let that thing out of its cage?
It would have been hilarious to have one as a pet though, because my like high school best friend, or one of, he was deathly afraid of possums, so if I had a pet possum at the house, he came over unsuspecting one day. Man, that would have been amazing. What's going on? Why can't I cast? But yeah, I guess that'd be one way you could get one of those wild animals to be able to raise. This guy's pretty much healing himself. Had a hummingbird trapped in the pool enclosure the other day too. I guess it was a little while ago now. Speaking of which, though, that's another thing. I need to get out of this house. Living with my mom still is not good for the lady situation. I don't even want to try to go out and like do anything with girls, because it's like I'll go back to my mom's. Beside not having a whole lot of spending money right now. But yeah, I need to... That's just another reason why I need to stop fucking around and get a better job. Real job. Kind of at that age where I need to start thinking about having kids too, I guess. I guess for guys it's not as important that you do it by a given age, but... Still. I think everybody kind of had a life plan for themselves, and I kind of... At this point I figured I'd be sort of starting to find a girl I would settle down with. And it's weird too, because okay, my parents had me when they were pretty old for, you know, to be having kids. So... Sorry, gotta heal. So I know from my parents, they probably want to be able to see their grandkids. Or, you know, potential grandkids. Before they're too old. My mom's almost 70 now, and my dad's 73, I think.
Nothing will stop the Iron
Do some
Horde
math real
of all
quick.
you. Enjoy your death,
Yeah,
weakling.
my mom's 69 and my dad's 74. Jesus. I'll be 74 in September. Whew. It's just crazy to even think about. So yeah, you know, they kind of, my dad has even said he kind of wants to be able to see some grandkids. Kind of puts a lot of pressure on me. I mean, I'm sure that's the same with a lot of people. I just feel like because my parents were so old when they had my sister and myself, you know, it's the pressure is that much more magnified.
Ready your axe. This ends now. Yes, Captain.
I know, personally, my last few experiences with females haven't been the best. I was talking to one girl recently, but she was just, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really in the place where I'm trying to have any sort of relationship right now, so she didn't really want to do anything because of that, which you can't really blame her for that, I guess. But she was also kind of young and immature. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm definitely not in any place in my life right now to... Now I'm not in a place to be thinking about kids, but sort of the blueprint for my life I kind of had myself, where I would be settled down, not settled down, but I would have a job that I knew I wanted to have for a while, good pay, like a house that I'm already starting to pay for. That way I could be thinking about kids now, and I'm nowhere near that at this point. It's a weird thing. I guess that's just part of growing up, though. Everybody has to deal with that shit. But yeah, kids are not something to take lightly. It's like in high school, you know, my high school sweetheart, I guess you could call her. She, I don't know, she made it out like she wanted to be having kids when she was like barely 18, basically. Just like, nah. 27, 28, maybe I'll be thinking about it, but... Wow. But yeah, even now, or now that I'm there, I would even say it's too early now. Shit happens, I guess. Messed up, man. These animals are all corrupted. Yeah, pretty much. Like, there's no point in dwelling on stuff too much. I guess a little self-reflection's good, but that's my problem, I've noticed. I dwell a lot on shit, and it's just, it accomplishes nothing. So really just saying, yeah, you know, shit happens and moving on, pretty much. Like you said, it just summarizes life. Gotta get used to it. You gotta learn to roll with the punches. That's kind of like when I did Taekwondo way back in the day. UFC was starting to become really popular. Like mainstream popular. And so I was kind of thinking, you know, maybe I could translate some of my Taekwondo skills into a MMA fighting style. Even though every Taekwondo martial artist I've seen walk into an octagon, it hasn't ever gone well except for one guy. There was one guy, I think his name was Kung. It was so close to one of the Mortal Kombat characters that I could never remember what it actually was. It's either Kung Lao or Kung Lee. And I think he did Muay Thai and Karate. Or sorry, Muay Thai and Taekwondo. And he was one of the few people I've ever seen actually landing like solid round kicks on people. I was like, yeah, I kind of want to do UFC now. But point being, the whole reason I was saying this was when I said roll with the punches made me think of it. I wanted to do UFC, but I was like, man, I really don't want to get punched in the face. It's like, you can't do something like that without getting punched in the face. So you either learn to get punched in the face, which we never did in the Taekwondo school I went to. We never really learned how to take punches, or take hits in general. It was all padded sparring, stuff like that, but you know, for what it was, that's what it was. It wasn't supposed to be real self-defense training, it was more like a exercise than anything. But yeah, you gotta learn to take a punch if you wanna be in the fight. It's pretty naive to think you can become a fighter, or for that matter, live life without anything bad happening. I mean, forget just taking a hit, you're gonna get knocked out sooner or later too. And even that's probably not the worst of what'll happen. You'll get your nose broken, you'll get arm broken, cauliflower ear, your retina dislocated. Like, there's a lot of reasons not to do UFC. And likewise, I guess there's a lot of shit that can happen in life, so sooner or later you gotta learn how to move past it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say I've had an especially hard life or anything, it's just certain shit I let my own brain kinda I don't know how to say it. My brain just can't move past. And I just need to learn how to. I used to do meditation, mindfulness meditation. Helped me a lot with that sort of stuff. I need to start doing it again. I actually mentioned that to my dad and he kinda scoffed at me. Dang old boy. Why you gotta meditate? Looks like you could just pray. Well, I don't know. We get the same thing out of it. Not an especially religious person myself. I think at this point I'd have to say I'm agnostic. I know this is probably one of those things you shouldn't talk about on stream, like religion, too much. But I grew up Southern Baptist, which I feel like is one of the more extreme Christian denominations. So maybe I saw one of the more extreme sides of it, and that's why I feel the way I do. But I got tired of the whole thing about it being. It was like the whole point of their faith was to spread the word rather than to just, I don't know, learn from it, which to me was just weird. It was almost reminiscent of a pyramid scheme or something, which isn't what I thought then or anything. Not even what I really think. It's just there's something about it that I don't know. Religion always felt like a thing to me that it's supposed to be a very personal thing, and I get the sense of community and all that. Like, I think religion's good in a lot of ways, but there's certain things about organized religion that don't sit right with me. Like, just this idea of one person being able to speak more loudly or clearly to God, and that it's somehow an individual's responsibility to spread the word once they know it. Like, I don't know. If God's that powerful, significant, he should be able to introduce himself in a natural way, I guess. But then I guess you can make the argument you are that. I don't. That's a whole thing. I've thought about that stuff for a long time. But point being, I feel like at this point I'd say I'm agnostic, and I feel like any sort of deity that may or may not exist would more or less understand the reason a person would doubt their existence. And I feel like the idea that you have to constantly praise and worship is a little bit... It's a little bit human for a deity. Like, I don't think something like that would really care that they're being worshipped. I mean, I've talked to my dad about it, and I understand their reasoning for it. Like, it's just to show your reciprocation for God's love, basically. But I don't know, I feel like just being a generally decent person kind of does that on its own. Where is this? So I don't know. My dad's pretty involved though at one of the local churches. I guess he's basically like a deacon. And they do some good stuff, you know, they do community outreach, all that stuff's good. Just anytime I guess anyone's in a position of power, it tends to corrupt. Even the most pious of men probably can't resist it completely. But you know, it kind of annoys me too, because like, my dad, he's pretty involved with his church. He helps people out all the time with all kinds of stuff, and like I said earlier, he's pretty old. And he's worn. Like, he's always worked with his hands pretty much his entire life. Part of the reason he retired early was because, according to him, he basically got tired of sitting at a desk and wanted to be working with his hands. So like, it annoys me when he'll help all these people with all this stuff, despite his age, despite all that, but then when he needs help, it seems like it's like if I don't help him, he can't get help from anyone. And it'll be like this stuff that I feel like I have no business doing, much less him. And it's not like I don't have the ability, but there are certain things that when you don't have the experience or the knowledge, it's better to let people who do have the experience and knowledge do it than to learn. Like removing a 50-foot dead tree first time he wants me to drive his tractor, which 20 some odd years he's never asked me to learn how to drive. First time he wants to is to pull down a tree while he's driving another direction in his truck to keep it from falling on the house or on, I guess, hopefully one of us in the process. I don't know, but that's just one example.
I have what you seek. I run a stand-up business here.
Speaking of which, in particular, I remember that same week, like a few days before, I helped him with something on the church grounds, and instead of telling me at the time, tells me later on in the week when I'm like busy, and acts like, you know, I guess he did it on his own without any help. That makes me feel like shit, especially if he got hurt. Like, I want to help him, but man, I don't want to get hurt either doing something I have no business doing.
How may I help you? Cheerio. What do you offer?
Wait, how am I? Did I miss something?
Open for business.
But yeah, I like that my dad will at least have a conversation with me about religion and stuff without really trying to force anything down my throat at this point. I don't understand what I'm supposed to know.
I offer service with a smile. I have what you seek. Always a pleasure. What do you offer? Open for business. I offer service with a smile. I have what you seek. Spread the good word, eh? How may I help you? I have what you seek.
Am I supposed to wait for her to tell me?
I offer service with a smile.
Try this again.
Anu Belore de la Na. We will have justice.
Oh, I was going too quickly. Crap.
What do you
I'm
offer?
supposed to do venom.
Cheers, mate.
There are also things like as Christianity teaches you to love your neighbor and all this, but I also heard my dad say some not so pleasant things about certain people. So it's also it's a little annoying to me when people are hypocritical like that, especially like people who claim to be following the word of God. I don't know. It's just, it's powerful to say that you know what God wants. It's like saying a lot. And if you convince somebody of that, I don't know, man.
Always a pleasure. Open for business. What?
There's just a lot of room for manipulation, like I said. There's a lot of power being held in those hands. Wait, what's going on?
How are ya?
Screwed up the script.
I have what you seek. Pop in any time.
Our enemies will fall.
May the light embrace you.
Do I have a deal for you? Keep it real.
Welcome, welcome.
But yeah, there's definitely something to be said about the pure cosmic unlikelihood of us existing. That much I'll definitely concede. And if anyone ever finds some hint towards how we got here, it'll probably help with all the doubt on both sides. But of course, that probably won't happen in our lifetime. I always thought that was something space travel might kinda help us understand, but I don't know. It only goes so far. I feel like traveling the cosmos at this point won't teach us much more than simply researching it already has. Like, observationally researching it. Not sure what else could be learned from physical observation. Or direct observation, I guess. Let's go up there. But I guess we don't know what there is to find out there. There are theories that what was written as angels in the Bible may have been aliens. Who knows? I do think the Bible, and I guess most religious texts for that matter, are kind of beautiful in the sense that there's so much left up to personal interpretation. Seems like very few of the I don't know if you call them fables or just whatever, the proverbs, the stories, whatever. They're just not very straightforward. They're meant to be some sort of lesson, and it seems like the individual person experiencing that story should take away their own lesson from it. Not to say two people can't get the same lesson, or that two people can't discuss their lessons and, you know, learn from each other. It's like any other book, I guess. Like any other form of art, everybody walks away with their own interpretation of it. That's, I think, what annoys me about the centralization of it. A pastor, like, well, at least at the church I used to go to, the pastor would basically tell you, maybe it wasn't supposed to be what you were supposed to think of a certain passage, but that's kind of what it felt like. He was saying his interpretation of it and what you should take away from it, and I didn't like that at all. Because a lot of the times I got a completely different meaning from the passage. I don't know. That's probably going to be one of those things till the end of time. Humanity will never truly know.
We are the eyes of the prophets.
Same with the origin of the universe. I guess some people probably think of the two as one. The universe itself as being some sort of cosmic god entity. I think that's don't quote me on this, but I think that's kind of what Hinduism and or like the Krishna people, something like that. Like existence was, I don't know, there's a lot of similarities between them all. I think is it Krishna himself? Basically the entire universe, I think, is supposed to be within one of the bubbles he blew while sleeping. Something weird like that. I mean, who's to say it's any crazier than anyone else's origin story?
Travel light to move
Or crazier than anyone else's
the legion will fall.
explanation for origin story.
Do not lose faith.
I don't get it. Oh. Why am I not? Mushrooms make me invisible. But yeah, then there's people like Steve Harvey too, who I like as a comedian, but I've seen all these clips of him being like really self-righteous about religion when like not talking to non-religious people if you're religious, and just literally just not even having conversations with them because they're not, quote, not worth your time. And I guess in the context he was talking about a relationship, but I don't know, it's just so asinine. You won't talk to someone just because they have different beliefs than you? Like, if you really care about someone, you would try to at least understand where they're coming from. You don't have to necessarily change their mind, but you can understand their reason for thinking the way they do, or try to at least.
The legion's end draws near. Favor the road traveler.
I don't think it's all that ridiculous to think of a reason why somebody might doubt religion at all.
The Draenor shall overcome.
Certainly wouldn't say there's any proof to the contrary, but it's hard to disprove the existence of something. Like saying there's no proof Sasquatch doesn't exist. I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling about that now, but...
I suppose you'll want to wait behind the fortifications of Shatrath and Karabor.
It is wisest to fight where we are strongest.
If we never leave our city walls, we will never be able to call this world our home.
I would forfeit my own soul to protect my people. There is follow the trail. Find our hidden foe.
Religion is really interesting though. I haven't studied it a lot, but there does seem like there's a lot of connections between some of the old world religions and some of the modern day ones. Not to say that necessarily means anything, but some food for thought. But I really like Greek mythology. That's one of my favorite in like English classes back in, I guess, high school and college, when we had to read certain stuff. Remember, we had to read the full Greek mythology book, or at least most of the stories in it. And that was one of the few things I actually read in high school. I can't remember who it was. It was mainly, there was the, what was it called? Was it just called the Epic? The one about Odysseus? That may have been the main story actually, but Odysseus kind of experiences a lot of the different gods. Kind of cool how they, well, I guess some people don't think it's cool, but it's
How
interesting
he was found. Murdered.
that they brought
Except
some.
Nael, weren't you overheard arguing with Hataru earlier?
We always argue. That doesn't mean I killed him.
The weapon is tainted with fell energy.
You seem to know an awful lot about the tools of our enemy.
It is my duty to know. Allow me to speak with the body. I forbid it. He has suffered enough.
I agree. Stand down, Exarch. Enough damage has been done.
Take a damn screenshot, come on. Why? There it goes.
We must preserve the sanctity of the fallen. There is a rat among us. I will find out who. The dead speak to those who listen. I will be unable to help once the ritual begins. Stay focused.
The body is ready, Exarch. I will anchor his spirit.
Golad, Malak, Velshiva. Follow the sound of my voice, spirit. Lend your sight to the living. Golad, Malak, Velshiva.
Begone, Exarch. This one, and all he knows, belongs to us now.
You may have claimed his body, but his immortal soul is mine to protect. Malak Velshiva! Golad Malak Velshiva! Light, give me strength!
Call in the cavalry.
Not until we know. We must know who did this to him. Exarch Malak Talomai, Hataru, come to the light. The wanted. Wanted what, Hataru? The codes to Akindun? Your security wards?
Maladar, we're losing him.
Who had you killed? Soulbinder. What happened? Why did you stop it?
We were about to lose him. You saw
It's
him.
her.
He called out to me for help. His spirit is safe now.
He mentioned an exarch.
It's her.
Naomi, take the body to Akindun and lay.
No, dude. Are you retarded? Are you dumb? You asked who had him killed. He pointed at her. Said her name. Please. Please don't be this dumb.
I can hear the souls of the dead. Never hesitate to do what is right.
Surprised how many people I'm actually seeing running around questing in Draenor. Must be a decent amount of alliance on this server. No, took the wrong way.
Trust me, friend. I will handle this. You may go.
Oh no, it's definitely him.
What is that? Is that Maladar's work? No, no. You don't need to do that. He is not to be trusted. Ah! Damn him! I thought I got rid of Maladar when I gave him up to the Iron Horde. Yes, I had the Tara killed. And you are next! I am not a traitor here. It's the false prophet Velen who betrayed our people. Will scorch this pathetic world as he has countless others. I have sworn this sacrament.
Oh no, this guy's on fire.
New name, Socretar. Enough! When next we meet, it'll be on my terms. Tell the remaining exarchs to number their days.
Well then. So run another dungeon. Oh, it's a new dungeon. Sweet.
Good. We must have arrived before Terangor and Gul'dan. Naomi is working to bolster the defenses against their assault. Follow me. We will report to her. Beautiful, isn't it? Just think, you're one of the first outsiders to see inside Akindu. Strange. Why is the door sealed? No matter. Let us proceed. The Vindicators and the Exarchs of the past. Heroes all. Their souls still remain with us here. Naomi, we are here. What is this? Oh no. No!
Yes, Tulani. Now you see. Your efforts were valiant. I did not think the anchorites could power the defenses with only one of the crystals. But nothing will stop my plan, nor that of my masters. And the only things in our way...
You have to stop them!
Are you, Tulani, and your outsider friends.
Sometimes you gotta watch the lore, man.
It is done! As for you, I think it is fitting that one of my tools dispatches the others. Protector, destroy these intruders!
None live who assault the holy Arcanine. I will strike you down!
The Protector still answers her call. You will have to defeat it.
In the glory of the light. Doom.
She got away. The defenses. She had help. So many of her order were corrupt. I will gather any who remain loyal here and protect them. You, please, go put a stop to this madness.
Oh man, I don't remember if I talked about this last time, but the new trailer for the new Godzilla looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to that. I've always been a big Godzilla fan. The 2014 one wasn't bad, but I wish they showed more of the actual, like, monster action. The new one definitely looks like it's gonna have plenty of monster action, so not worried about that. Almost looks like it might have too many monsters to have enough for each fight there's sure to be. But Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mothra, Godzilla. And it looked like Godzilla was on our side.
Your souls into darkness.
So that'll be cool. About time they made a really good American Godzilla. Or English Godzilla. Maybe not American, so to speak.
The spirits are mine to command.
Western, I guess that's the style.
My master comes.
Okanai, secure this chamber. The barrier protecting Ockendun is asunder. A foul force has penetrated these sacred chambers. Scout ahead while we establish a foothold.
Yeah, guy got crushed by that inferno. It's messed up. Still not sure if I want to... I may actually go ahead and level my original Warlock. Seems kind of dumb to have a Warlock max level on both Alliance and... Horde though. But I don't know. I could just kind of farm transmogs while I'm leveling him. And then I would just have an Alliance one if I decide I want to play Alliance. I don't know. I should probably use my time more wisely though. So maybe not. Or if I do, it won't be anytime soon. Honestly, I wish I could just get that Knight Champion title off. Oh shit. Shit, I messed up.
Die, insect! Burn in the Master's fire! Come forth, servants! Master's fire!
Let's skip that cutscene now. What is that music? It just scared me. What is this music right now? Like a goat horn? It's pretty intense.
This power, you will be the first to know it. Draenor, paragon of order, I shall twist your soul to power destruction. I need
Here. This is not enough to thank you for your actions, but it is what we have to give.
He just jumped off.
Now we can rebuild. We must rebuild. We will never allow our souls to fall to the Legion. You have done more than you know. Our people can never thank you enough.
Cool looking dagger. And this game can be really striking looking sometimes.
The dead speak to those who listen. Remember.
We must learn the secrets of Draenor. Know your enemy.
The Naru have not forgotten us.
The Legion's end draws near. Remember the lessons of the past.
No, the warrior engineer sounds good.
The Legion will fall.
By few.
She's just a tank. She's a rogue, basically.
Blessings upon your family.
This is such a puzzling world.
Now I kind of wish I had just gotten her instead. I'm probably not going to make the engineering workshop.
Fight on your own terms.
whatever. Doesn't matter that much, I guess. Would have been nice to have a guardian though.
What do you need? I'll call in a few favors.
Hi, how are you? Have a great day now.
I already have at least one bodyguard, so I guess it's okay. It's not that big of a deal.
Good. We must have arrived before Terangor and Gul'dan. Naomi is working to bolster the defenses against their assault. Follow me. We will report to her.
I don't know if my mic was muted, but I said at least I have one bodyguard already. Blood Knight. Should be fine.
Isn't it? Just think. You're
Not
one of
even
the
positive
first
that other one would
outsiders
have
to see inside
actually been a
Aquileia.
guard.
Strange. Why is the door sealed? No matter. Let us proceed. The Vindicators and Exarchs of the past. Heroes all. Their souls still remain with us here.
It is done. As for you, I think it is fitting that one of my tools dispatches the others. Protector, destroy these intruders!
None live who assault the holy oculi. I will strike you down!
The Protector still answers her call. You will have to defeat it.
Bathe in the glory of the light! Doomed.
She got away. The defenses. She had help. So many of her order were corrupt. I will gather any who remain loyal here and protect them. You, please, go put a stop to this madness.
Actually, a pretty sweet stat.
I will coil your souls into darkness. The spirits are mine to command. Your oath is unfinished. I'm too late. My master comes.
Okanai, secure this chamber. The barrier protecting Ockendune is asunder. Foul force has penetrated these sacred chambers. Scout ahead while we establish a foothold.
Guess I do know one of the reasons why old school RuneScape is still so popular. It's just that staking shit. Basically just another form of gambling. I don't think there's an equivalent to that in WoW. It'd be interesting if there was though. Just duels for money.
accept? Burn in the Master's fire! Come forth, servants! Burn in the Master's fire! Burn in the Master's fire!
Starting to get tired all of a sudden. Might have to see if I can get this last level and then go after that. I don't know. We'll see.
to know it. Jora, paragon of order, I shall twist your soul to power destruction. Destruction! More! I need more!
You did it here. This is not enough to thank you for your actions, but it is what we have to give. Now we can rebuild. We must rebuild. We will never allow our souls to fall to the Legion. You have done more than you know.
Alright, well, like I said, I'm getting pretty tired, so I think I may just go ahead and call it here for the night. And I do need to try to do some work tomorrow, so probably shouldn't stay up too late anyways. It's already getting pretty late. So, on that note, thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you decide to join me again next time. And I will see you then. Peace.